Today, I want to talk about the power of moonlighting. As an engineer, you're working for someone else. Should you moonlight on other projects doing engineering work for someone else? And my answer is absolutely do that. It is one of the best ways for you to get established as being an entrepreneur, sticking your toe in the water, seeing what it's like, actually making contact with other people that are willing to pay you for engineering work outside of your place of employment. You do want to be careful to make sure that you're not prevented from doing that. Some contracts for employment will prevent you from doing moonlighting work. It's fairly rare, but sometimes it does happen on some of the bigger companies. In most cases, you'll be able to do that. And I would encourage you to do that. Be looking for those opportunities as if you were already working out on your own as a contracting engineer, but inside the safety of getting that regular paycheck. Stretch out and do some of that work on the side. You do have to be a little bit careful with one other aspect, and that is just making sure you don't get overcommitted. Since you won't be available probably during the day, you have to have an understanding with the client that it is moonlighting work. You're going to be working after hours. You're not going to be extremely responsive, probably not available for conference calls during the day and that sort of thing. So there are some logistics to work out. Just be totally straightforward with whoever you're working for that that's exactly what you're doing and what your plan is. If that's a plan as a stepping stone to be looking to or going out on your own, a lot of companies might be very interested in cultivating that relationship with you, and you might end up using that company as one of the angel companies that helps you to make that break from the daily work from your current employer. So it can be extremely powerful, and it can be a really good way to start building a network of people. I would also suggest going from project to project that way. Don't just stop at one. Don't just, you moonlight one time, you get some extra cash, and there's a temptation to think, well, that tells me that I could be working on my own. You don't feel ready to quit your job necessarily, but it's not enough information in my mind. It's still fairly risky to quit your job based on one contract that you've had. To get out there and do that for several people. Keep networking, keep selling as if you were working on your own, but doing it again from the safety of your current employment situation. And then when you've got a good group of clients that you can go to and get a project from time to time, now you've got a basis to build a business on, at least the starting of one. And it'll be a lot easier for you to scale into that and to leave your job knowing with some confidence that there will be work out there for you. If it all works timing wise, you might even be doing that working into projects that are ramping up and up and up on your moonlighting side, and be able to leave your current employer with a series of contracts ready to go, or at least a good outlook of work ready to go with some extra companies that you're working with on the side. So I did some of that early on as I was still working for an engineering company. I did a number of projects on the side. And at one point I had gotten so overcommitted, there was a delivery timeline. This was an installation of a system that was going into a museum, and there was a release date, so we couldn't push back on that. The whole exhibit was going live, and my part of it needed to work. So that was the impetus that I needed to just go ahead and pull the trigger on that and step out of that job and work the contract. And that was the springboard that I used to launch my company working on my own. So you never know what those opportunities are going to be. But if you don't stretch, if you don't reach out to those moonlighting opportunities, you'll only imagine what they could be, and you won't know. And that's the easiest way to find out without cutting the cord on a high-paying day job and hoping that you get the contracts that you need. So I would highly encourage you to try moonlighting, get out there, get some side jobs, and see what happens.